It is 9:06. It is a Tuesday morning, busy day here in Elgin, and we'll have some coverage in about less than an hour from down by the Gale Borden Library where the emergency operations vehicle is, and as they get ready to remove the car that was Karen Sheeper's car from 1983 from the Fox River today. This hour, though, we're going to talk about Elgin Chamber of Commerce a little bit, Elgin business and such as that, with our friend Carol Gieske, who is here this morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you today?
Not too bad.
It is exciting to know that there might be some resolution to this long open case and bring some comfort to the family. So we're all anxious about that and glad that you'll be down there covering it for us. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And those detectives have really been working hard for a long time. So to actually get some, an answer or some closure on their very first cold case, be a good start for them in trying to solve all these cold cases.
It sure would be. It really is exciting. We've got such a progressive police department. We appreciate all the things that Chief Lally and her team are doing for our community and the surrounding areas. Just really positive. We're very fortunate. Well, thanks for the opportunity to be with us today. We always like to come on and talk about local business and what's happening. And as you said, it's very busy. There's a lot of topics going on in the business community. What are some of the impacts going to be in our local business and industry and manufacturing relative to tariffs or potential tariffs and whatever that situation is. So we're trying to monitor that with some of our larger companies. I think we've talked before in the past, Mark, that we really have a number of large sectors in our community, manufacturing being one of those. And so we have a lot of folks who are bringing items in and exporting. We regularly are at some of our manufacturers assisting in the export process. We at the Chamber have to confirm that the products are made here in the U.S. before they are shipped internationally, and that is happening probably every week or so. We're out doing certificates of origin, so it's really fascinating to hear about that. But today we have two local businesses with us. Really fun to talk with these guys. Steve Kroiss is back with us. Steve is the CEO, founder of 79 Ratio IT. This guy's just a wealth of knowledge. It's going to be fun to talk with Steve. So thank you for being with me again.
Thanks for having me here.
Well, it's a pleasure. And also joining me for the first time is Rick Jackson. Rick is the store manager of Blain's Farm and Fleet. Rick, thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot, Carol. I appreciate it.
A lot of diversity in our world, and this is a perfect example of that diversity. Rick is coming from a retail background, busy all of the time. Steve is busy, but you're much more online, right? You've got the capacity to reach customers around the world because of your business, right?
Yeah, we could do most of our work remotely. There's obviously certain cases where we have to go in person, but for the most part, we can handle all of our clients just from our office here at Elgin.
Oh, that's great. So talk a little bit about how Steve founded 79 Ratio.
Sure. So I'd worked for a couple different managed service providers before doing something similar, so doing managed IT services. Saw how they were running it, thought I could do at least the same, if not better, preferably. And so branched out on my own and kind of kept going with it.
All right, so what does 79 Ratio mean?
So a bit of a math nerd, but 79 is the atomic number for gold. So the golden ratio. So just...
Perfect. That's perfect. And did you invest in gold when you founded your company at 79 Ratio when it was probably, $1,500 an ounce rather than...
I wish I did. Should have done it when I was born. That would have been a lot better there, too.
How about that? Well, it's really fun to see what's happening with that. But 79 Ratio, that's good to know about it. So you are a math nerd, and you've got talent. You're an artist as well. You really are. You have a lot of things going on in your life. So talk a little bit about 79 Ratio. What is it? What are you doing? Your team?
So we're a managed IT service provider. So what that actually means is companies hire us to be their IT department, just externally to their company. We take care of everything from normal computer issues that you have to actually organizing and managing your data and making it in a good usable form. A lot of companies get pretty messy with that on their infrastructure, and so we help them, consult them into organizing it and making it a good workflow for them, so that way it's kind of all aspects of their business. Allows the business owner to kind of focus on what they're good at, which is doing their business, lets us kind of focus on what we're good at, is helping them with the infrastructure of their business.
Well, that's really good to hear. I'll tell you, Steve, we get so many people that we talk with who come in and have ideas and want to do a business, and we always say, because you like to eat cookies doesn't mean you should open a bakery. So let's make sure that you're really good at what you're doing, and then you can find those people to assist you. And especially with IT, it is such a complex world any longer. When you started, how many years ago?
8 years.
8 years?
About a week ago.
Oh, congratulations. That's really exciting. So what has happened with IT? I mean, it just moves at such a fast pace.
Yeah, so I mean, you have the normal computer issues, and then lately, you just sent me something this morning about cybersecurity. Mm-hmm. That's been crazy. I'll just kind of say that. But as the insurance companies are looking to insure businesses, there's a lot of different changes in that, and cybersecurity policies used to be like $15 a year. Now they are significantly greater than that for a good reason.
Yep.
And so it's just trying to make sure that people have their bases covered. Like, you see a lot of bad practices out there, and so it's they're just trying to encourage people to step that up.
So are you able to help consult, if you will, with some of these companies about this? Because we've seen the same thing with the policies that we have. Of course, all insurance policies are climbing pretty quickly, but the IT is interesting to see what it does cover and what it doesn't cover.
Yeah, so it is definitely interesting. There's a lot of changes in the way that they handle a lot of those policies. If it shows that you're completely negligent and they have to do their research, if you ever do those claims, you kind of get your SOL. It's so it's worth taking those steps, not just because you won't have to deal with an audit from your insurance company, but also for protection of your data, everything else. A lot of companies don't realize that, hey, if someone gets your data or locks you out of your data, guess what? You can't do your work. Like imagine you guys are farming.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your guys' computers are down, how are you doing business?
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah, people underestimate how valuable the computer is, and some people don't. So,
yeah. So Steve, when you started this program or your business 8 years ago, what did you ever imagine you'd be where you are at now, looking at some of the challenges that you have? I mean, did you go in knowing what it would be like to open a business? Run your own business?
Vaguely. Kind of a rough idea of it. But I thought it would take on something different. But I knew also from the Leadership Academy and a couple other things too, that business, even though you have a specific goal or a specific idea for what you think you're going to be doing, like, it depends on the market. It's going to change however it decides, not necessarily you. So I'm just trying to stay fluid with it and make sure that everything we can do is covered and taken care of. So.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's, Rick, pivot over to you for just a little bit and talk about it, because I want to come back and talk about culture and what you've been able to do with your own businesses. So, Rick, store manager at a retail store.
Yep.
Is all encompassing. Is that fair to say?
To say the least, yes. To say the least.
And a large retail store and a chain, no less. So talk a little bit about how did you enter in the world of retail, and how did you end up being the store manager here at Blain's Farm and Fleet, which is located on Randall Road?
Yep, 629 South Randall.
Yep. And so how did that happen in your life?
So I've actually been in retail for, over 30 years now. I started out working for Jewel Osco. I did work for Jewel for 22 years. So after that, I kind of made the transition over to Farm and Fleet, working at a couple of different locations, and then the opportunity kind of came up to be able to go into the Elgin market. So I kind of got myself established in the Elgin market, had the opportunity to be able to go and be a store manager at another location. I was gone for a little while, came back, and now that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Good.
It's back in Elgin. I've been back here now. It's getting close to 5 years now. So
great. And it doesn't stop with a retail store. While you might have store hours that are from what to what? 6?
So from 8 o'clock in the morning
8?
Until 8 o'clock at night.
8 to 8.
Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday from 9 to 6.
So you're working, Steve, just like you. I mean, you don't stop. When a client has a problem, you're working 24 to solve it, right? 24/7 to solve it. Same
all it's
kind of
done.
thing with you. I mean,
Yeah,
operating
absolutely.
a store.
Things never slow down. Things never stop. Our e-commerce channel is always out there, available, farmandfleet.com, to be able to make purchases and be able to buy things, be able to schedule your pickups in store, things like that. So yeah, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
That's great. So do you ever regret going into retail? I mean, both of those operations, Jewel Osco is 24/7, so that's even more.
Everybody always asks that if you regret going into retail, and retail is one of those things where it's either you either love it or you hate it. And for me, it's just always been a passion to be able to be out there and be able to take care of serving the community, and it's just an opportunity to really get out there and take care of all of our neighbors.
Oh, that's great. It's a good way to do it. So you've been with the store for a while now. The store is coming up almost on 10 years in Elgin, right?
Yeah, so we'll have 9 years this year, and then our 10th year will be next year. We did open in 2016. So yeah, the store's been there for a long time now. It's hard to believe. It's like you snap your fingers and it's just like time just flew by.
Scary.
You never believe
Yeah.
how fast it went.
Yeah, I remember when it opened.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can't believe it's been 10 years already. That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. We were fortunate enough to be in on the discussion of the potential of Blain's coming into town. That was the old Lowe's location, which sat empty for a while. And Jane came down, and we met in our conference room and brought some city staff over and just talked about, is that store appropriate? Is the square footage what you want? Do you think you'd be successful? Looking at your competitors in the area. And it was just a really wonderful conversation, and she committed to it. And since then, it's been, how is the store in comparison to other stores? It seems very successful.
So we're doing well. Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, you see continual growth every single year. I mean, there's constant change, obviously, with the different clientele, and Elgin and the demographics of Elgin really present a unique opportunity to Blain's. It's a lot different than in some of our other stores. Some of our other stores are really more, kind of rural.
Rural, yeah.
So, you're out there and you're in the Freeports of the world, and, even going into our Michigan markets and things along those lines. So there's definitely some differences between where we're at, being closer towards the city, than those true farming communities.
Yeah, more urban locations, certainly. But you're drawing from all around. Where's the closest stores to the north and south of you?
So I would say our two closest stores are probably going to be Woodstock and Sycamore.
Oh,
So Woodstock and Sycamore. Romeoville is also there, but it's a little bit further. And then you also have Montgomery. So there's locations that are around, but it's it's about a 30-minute ride any direction, and you can pretty much guarantee you're going to run into a Blain's.
so you walking into the Blain store, I mean, it's just really fascinating. You have so many different departments, and I just posted a job last week. Your candy department manager position
Yes,
is open.
yes, yes.
So Rick, tell us about your candy department.
Yeah, so we're so our candy department is kind of a destination, right? I mean, it's like we have such a unique array of things and things that you would remember from your childhood. I mean, it's candies that you kind of have from way back when, and it's a unique mix of kind of things that we have out there in the candy department. So definitely looking for an individual that's really kind of a go-getter and somebody that wants to be able to come out and enjoy the culture that Blain's has, because it's unlike anything I've ever experienced.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up because it is interesting. Just back to the candy store manager for a while. If anyone's looking for a job on our website, elginchamber.com, we post jobs of those businesses in the area. So it was, as I said, as I laughed through it, it was fun to, first time I've ever posted a candy store, a candy department manager position, but I laughed my way through it because we know that area well, and the Gieske family. My husband is a fan of that, so certainly we're there. I'm sure Mark has been there once or twice with his choices.
Yeah, for sure. Outdoors kind of person for sure, and like going to check out the kayaks and all kinds of stuff you have over at Blain's.
Yeah, it's great. So talk a little bit about corporate culture, and not only with Blain's, but Steve will talk about it too, because in a smaller business, it's a little bit more unique to be able to do it. But your culture is different within your company. Can you talk a little bit about that, Rick?
So it really is. It's more of a family atmosphere. It does not feel like some of these really big, gigantic corporations that are out there. your CEOs, you know all of your senior leadership team, and they know who you are, and they don't just know you from, a number on a piece of paper. It's you can go in there and actually have one-on-one conversations with these people. It is not by any means like a corporate wall where you get to a certain level and you just don't ever get to speak to those individuals. At any point in time, you could go up to the office and you could go into Janesville and walk into the office, ask to speak with somebody, and they'll carve time out for you.
Nice.
And they genuinely care for you and your family. It's one of those things where, people have deaths in the family or people have weddings and things like that. And it really is that family environment where they celebrate all of the things that you have going on in your life, as well as, kind of take sorrow in the times that are difficult.
So your store is rather large. How many full-time equivalents do you have?
So as it stands right now, total staff in the building is sitting at right around 90 people.
Oh, gosh, that's a lot.
So we're sitting at about 90 people. There is obviously the mix of part-time and limited part-time associates that are in there as well. But we're looking at right around, I'm going to say 45 full-time associates. Everybody else is kind of part-time. Yeah. But it's a great place to be able to kind of start out your working life. We're very flexible when it comes to working with kids and doing that kind of stuff that are in school. The ability to be able to work and kind of flex to, their schedules with sports and all of the different things that you have as you're going through high school. We work around schedules, and we have a lot of college students that are working that are over at ECC, and it's nice that we have the ability and the flexibility to be able to kind of work within their schedules to be able to make it so they have an opportunity to earn some money.
So you really do encourage younger folks to start out their career with you. Come
Absolutely.
in if they can work minimum, how many hours a week are you?
So, we're open to anything.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
I mean, like, if you only want to work Saturdays and Sundays, I'm open to bringing you on board to be able to come in and work on Saturdays and Sundays. If it's something where even you're looking in a limited capacity where you're going to school out of state and you're going to be gone for extended periods of time, there are opportunities to be employed with us as well, where we would put you on a limited part-time schedule and you'd be able to go and you attend college and then come back and work your breaks, earn that money while you're not in school.
That's nice to have that flexibility. I'm sure that makes a big difference for some of these students who are still pursuing their education.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know how important education is, and we encourage you to go out and be able to pursue those degrees. And we try to build that foundation for kind of your life and kind of be able to give them those core values that you really need to be able to be successful.
Yeah, that makes a difference. But Steve, how about you? The same kind of thing. I mean, your culture, you've got a smaller business. How many staff are you working?
We're right now at 8.
8.
So a little smaller.
Yeah, well, of course. But, how do you work culture into what your business is?
It's a little more difficult, I would imagine, because we aren't all local to the Elgin area. So we've got employees all over the U.S. and all over the world for that matter, too. So it's a little more challenging.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But you're all remote, so you have that capability to utilize talent across the world.
Yeah, it does. It makes it easier and harder. It's just different. So it is nice having the diversity in there, too. It's nice having a different person pick up the phone. It's nice we have female engineers on our team. It's weird to talk to a female engineer when you're dealing with IT things. So it is really nice to be able to have those opportunities and options out there too. So
how do you find staff? How do you, as you continue to grow?
Yeah, so sometimes it's word of mouth. It's who you know. It's literally just who you can find that is competent, and that is a challenge, but also it's just part of the job. So
you're located physically here in Elgin.
Yes, our office is right down the street over here. So
that's great. And then you've got a couple of people here in Elgin that are able to work out of your office, but then you can supplement that with people around the world. So time zones of your clients, is that an issue that is easily handled by your remote staff? I imagine that would be beneficial.
Sometimes, yeah. So we do have a good staggered setup with our employees. So that way it does kind of cover the different time zones. Since we're a service-based business, we have to make sure that we're open when our customers are. So, like, unfortunately, we're 365 also. It's a little more challenging, but yeah, we have, with the different time zones that we have, our basic, 3-4 time zones we have, we're well covered in that. So it's,
Yeah, interesting. So you don't have anyone walk through your front door like Rick does, but you have them walking through you online. How are they finding you as a potential servicer for their IT needs?
yeah, honestly, most of it ends up being word of mouth. But if they're really interested, they can look on our website at 79ratio.com. That's the number 79ratio.com. And you'll find a lot of the different services that we offer, like the different coverage too. So we don't just do computers, we do phone systems, data management, all sorts of fun things. Printers, yeah. So anything that's technology based in your business, we can help handle that.
So I always laugh when we talk with our new customers and about the ability of our staff, and I always tell them, if you have a tech question, do not come to me. I acknowledge that right at the beginning, that I don't possess those skills. Terry on our team is just wonderful and able to answer so many of those questions. That's just not anything that I'm able to do. So you have tasks, you have folks who have specialties in different areas. Is that how that would work?
Yeah, so different engineers on our team have different specialties, if you will. And so anything specific that kind of comes up, we'll kind of lean on them for any of those experiences that they have. Otherwise, most of our engineers are really well trained and really capable. So usually doesn't matter who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
We can get through whatever issue it is.
And it seems like that world of technology, Steve, is constantly changing. How does your staff stay up on what they need in order to service your customers?
Thankfully, since the technology is gradually changing, we run into a lot of different challenges as we're coming across different things for different companies, and so we get exposure to all those different changes. But otherwise, yes, we do training. We do lots of training and just lots of videos, just trying to keep up with everything that's going on. So.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. Well, it's an interesting world. You have, Steve, really, in the 8 years that you've been operating, have reached out to the not-for-profit world. You're very involved in this community. As you said, you were a grad of our Elgin Area Leadership Academy program, and as a result, found some relationships that have been beneficial to the company. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a lot of different people. When you go through something like that, you end up having a lot of friends that you make along the way, and then they have different connections, and yeah, you're connected in all sorts of different interesting facets.
So we're just starting to recruit for the Leadership Academy, and we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we'll talk more about that.
It's Chamber Chat with Carol Gieske and great guests here today. And we're half hour and away from going down to the Gale Borden Library for some live coverage this morning of a press briefing on the discovery of Karen Sheeper's car yesterday down in the Fox River. So stay tuned for a lot of great information today on WRMN. It is a partly sunny morning. We're headed for a high of about 51 degrees today. More of Chamber Chat coming up in the next half hour right here on WRMN.
Hello, I'm Dennis Green. A plane carrying nearly 200 Venezuelans deported from the U.S. and landed in the country's main airport. The flight resumed after reaching an agreement with the South American country over the weekend. News Nation's Tom Dempsey reports.
Their arrival in Venezuela comes as the Trump administration faces some scrutiny over the legality of its deportation efforts. The Trump administration is due back in court actually today here in D.C. to fight a temporary restraining order blocking deportation under the Alien Entities Act. Judge James Boasberg has accused the federal government of providing, quote, woefully insufficient information about the planes that took off for El Salvador, carrying alleged Venezuelan gang members last weekend.
The Trump administration has not provided evidence that the deportees are members of a gang or that they committed any crime in the United States. AP correspondent Julie Walker has news out of Columbia University.
Education Secretary Linda McMahon says Columbia University is on the right track to recover federal funding frozen by the Trump administration. McMahon's comments on CNN follow Columbia agreeing to administration policy demands. The Trump administration pulled $400 million in federal funding over Columbia's handling of Israel-Gaza protests, demanding the university make 9 changes to its academic and security policies before restoring the money. Columbia said Friday it would make almost all the changes, including putting its Middle East department under new supervision and overhauling its rules for protests and student discipline. Julie Walker, New York.
For WRMN News, I'm Dennis Green.
Hi, my name is Cecilia Ivana Brooks. I'm running for Elgin City Council because I have a passion for people and politics. I care deeply for this city, and the city of Elgin is my home, and I want to see all of our people thrive, prosper, and grow for generations to come. I want to lay the groundwork for this city, championing business development and economic prosperity, improving community relations, and empowering our youth, and maneuvering our mental health and substance abuse crisis, because the people of Elgin deserve to have a government that is run by the people, for the people. So join me and please support by voting for me, Cecilia Ivana Brooks, on Tuesday, April 1st for Elgin City Council. Thank you. God bless America, and may God bless the city of Elgin. Paid for by the Believers for Cecilia Brooks.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. Today, mostly sunny with a high near 51. Temperatures falling to around 49 in the afternoon. This afternoon, mostly sunny with temperatures around 49. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 27. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high near 53. Currently, it is 38 and overcast. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Welcome back to Chamber Chat with Carol Gieske and guests. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Yes, I'm taking place of Marky B for the moment as we get this breaking story set and ready to go at 10 o'clock. So we got some good things here. So we will definitely continue on here.
Hey, Matt, thank you very much for being here. So again, my guests today are Steve Kroiss, who is the founder of 79 Ratio, and Rick Jackson, the store manager at Blain's Farm and Fleet. And we were just talking a little bit about the community. I do want to share some information, and Rick, we'll tie it back into you in a little bit, but we have a snapshot of Elgin that we've prepared, and I'm wondering if people understand the depth and breadth of the community. We're a community of about 115,000 people here in Elgin, another 25,000 or so down in South Elgin. This is just relative to Elgin itself, but if perhaps you don't know that within Elgin right now there are 39,403 households.
Oh, wow.
So almost 40,000 households in Elgin, projected to go up a little bit in the next few years. Household incomes are anywhere from 10% at, well, let me find the highest, 11% at $280,000 and more, all the way down to about $15,000 in a household, and about 4.5% of our households have that limited income. So we're just really all over. The largest percentage, about 25% of our households, have income of $100,000 to $150,000. So interesting statistics. A population by age, and this is the 2024 information coming out of the U.S. Census. So we have the largest category. 20% of our population is the age of 5 to 19 years old, followed very, very closely by the population of those who are 65 plus at 15%. And 13% is the 35 to 44-year-old household. So I'm sure, Rick, these are the kinds of things that you look at from your company at what are the statistics that we have of our community, what's the community made of. And then 2024 home values. Interesting, the home values of Elgin, 37% of our population are in homes valued at $200,000 to $299,000. So that's followed closely by $300,000 to $399,000. So we're just kind of all over the place with that. A little bit more on automotive expenditures here. Some statistics that are interesting. The largest expenditure, Rick, and you have an auto section, so we can talk about that in just a little bit. The average amount of expenditures for an Elgin resident who owns their own car, which is the second largest expenditure behind a home, is about $3,300 a year for gasoline. Obviously, these are not electric cars, but gasoline. Vehicle payments, about $3,100 in vehicle payments, and it just goes from there down to insurance and parking and tolls. So it is interesting to see what Elginites are expending in automotive expenditures. So talk about your auto department.
So auto services, I mean, we kind of have a little bit of everything to offer, right? We do tires, we do batteries, shocks, struts, brakes, kind of that undercar type provider. Definitely have tire services and things like that as well. It kind of goes across the board.
Yeah.
When we kind of came in, we kind of that shop is set up a little bit differently than all the rest of our other shops. We kind of have a dealership style to it. So it's kind of you pull into the front of the building and you exit out of the back of the building. So it's a little bit different than kind of what you see at your normal farm and fleet. But it's all state-of-the-art technology. We actually have a tire changer that does it itself. I mean, you essentially just wheel the tire over there, and it'll pop the tire off and change it out and get that done for you, too. Nice. Lots of services that we have, like Carside, which offers us the ability to be able to kind of give you the eyes into what services are being done at our facility. Kind of show you that. We can show you videos, we can show you pictures of underneath your vehicle to be able to send that stuff to you so that you can actually see what it is that's going on.
That's interesting.
We're definitely not out there trying to sell you stuff that you don't need. It's just kind of, we want to make sure that you're getting what you need. That's really it.
And can those services, can I sign up for those online? Is that something that you
absolutely.
do? Oh, good.
Yep.
Okay.
So we just started in the past year taking appointments online, so you can go ahead and you can sign up for some of those services online, be able to book your appointments and be able to come in, drop off your car if you want to do that, or obviously you're more than welcome to walk around our building too.
So as we walk around your building, there is just such a myriad of departments. And as before we came on air, we were talking about this time of year is spring, evolving yards. And of course, what came up in the discussion were chickens.
Chickens, more chickens.
Matt, you aware of the chickens over at Farm and Fleet?
I have never actually. No, I was not aware of that.
Well, we need to take a field trip with you.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Because there are baby chicks.
There are baby chicks, and we will have baby chicks basically all summer long. There will be baby chickens that will be in our store. Right now, it's insane. People are coming in and lining up, waiting for them to arrive. Typically, they're showing up Thursday afternoon sometime. But yeah, they take them and they ship them in from the hatchery. We get them when they're about a day to 2 days old.
Oh my gosh.
They come pretty quick. And, we take care of the chickens and we get everything there. But we also have all the supplies to be able to take care of the chickens and make sure that you're able to kind of take on that responsibility.
So that's a seasonal effort for you, and I'm sure you look forward to it every season, don't you, Rick?
It's loud.
Loud.
You never realize just how loud baby chicks are until you are unpacking them out of those boxes when they come in from the post office. And it gets really loud in the building, and you hear all the chirping going on and everything else. Ducks are the ones I don't really like to take care of, but that's just because they're messy.
Oh.
They like to splash in the water and kind of have fun with that kind of stuff. But, you know, we have chickens and we have ducks, and you can order turkeys and all of that kind of stuff too. So it's not just limited to chicks.
And Steve, as we found out, you, in fact, are a chicken aficionado.
I don't know about that, but I had chickens. Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about your experiences with chickens.
Yeah, so the city of Elgin, oh God, I'm trying to remember how long ago this was,
Yeah.
probably 7-8 years ago, they ran a pilot program to see if it would be worth having backyard chickens within the city limits. They had the pilot program and they had a lottery, and was lucky enough to win one of those lottery spots. And I had chickens. So it was pretty fun. It was really rewarding. They're probably one of the easiest pets, if you will, to manage. Just make sure they're well fed and like cleaned up after, and they're pretty low maintenance. They're pretty nice. I like them. But yeah, it was a great experience. It was nice, and it was right down the street from the downtown of Elgin. So it was great.
That's awesome. So as we, obviously in the news, everyone's talking about the prices of eggs. Is this what's driving, Rick, the people standing in line to get your product?
I really think that that's what's driving it. You know, we see increases in chicken sales every single year.
Okay.
I mean, and it's crazy the amount of chickens that come in and the amount of chickens that we sell every single year. I mean, we're talking on average, on a weekly average, just our store stock chickens, we're getting about 300 birds in. And the 300 birds come in and they go out, and we don't even have them in the store for 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, it varies too, because it's going from just the layers to also meat birds. So people are coming in and they're purchasing Cornish hens.
Oh.
So there's a Cornish that we sell that people are actually utilizing to be able to get, you know, meat and be able to have chicken on their table at home.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that one.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of gets a little like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Do you promote a lot about like, you know, chickens on like social media platforms? Is that a way that you get a lot of influence?
So there's chicken chats that happen. It's crazy chicken chats, but we do have that on our Facebook page. We do have like a chicken chat that comes on, and we have experts, subject matter experts that come on there, and you know, they go ahead and they'll let you know about different things about the chickens, and you know, kind of get an idea for it. Most of our, like, coming from the grocery background, like I had zero knowledge whatsoever to chickens. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, this is insane. I'm like, I don't understand. And you start to learn a lot more about them. And you know, people really do make them pets. And, you know, we have customers that actually bring their chickens to our store.
Because
Just because they like to.
take them on an outing?
Yeah. They take them on an outing. We actually have a customer that he brings his geese with him, and he comes in and his geese come with. He
Wow.
has 3 of them,
Huh.
and they actually just walk behind him in the store. They follow right behind him.
They're not leashed. They're just
They're just right behind
out
him,
for
just
a
following.
tour, a field
Well,
trip.
my grandma had chickens.
Did she?
Growing up here in Elgin as a kid, she lived on Chester Avenue, and they used to tie wire onto their chicken, and they'd walk them down here, downtown Elgin. Just
Wow.
she
Yeah.
didn't own a farm. They just did that. So
Yeah, it's crazy. People really enjoy it though.
That's great. Well, I imagine your staff must enjoy it too, to see the
it
end
is.
result. I mean, if I'm selling those products and all of a sudden a man walks in with, 3 geese behind him.
You know, it's a lot of fun. It really is, and you really have to just kind of weigh it all out. Make sure you're making the right decision for yourself and your family. Chickens have to have more than one, so you can't just have one chicken. They will die by themselves just because they get lonely, and you know, you have to make sure that they've got a companion with them all the time, and that kind of stuff too. So it's really important that you understand the responsibility that you're taking on by bringing that animal into your home.
And it is good that you have that information that's available for your customers, because if they're first timers, I mean, Steve, I don't know how many chickens you had, but if your first timers don't really know what you're doing, it's on you to make sure you get educated to make sure the animals are treated well.
Yeah,
correctly.
and we'll share that information with you, and we definitely, our staff has got knowledge about that kind of stuff, and we'll make sure that you have all the things that you need to be able to keep your chickens safe, and make sure that you're really making that right decision for yourself.
Fascinating. So, Steve, do you still have chickens, or
Not at the moment, no.
Not at the moment, but there's something.
At some point in
perhaps-
my future, yes.
You will.
Definitely have chickens again.
All right. Well, that's good to know. So it is interesting, that whole evolution of what we've seen, and how exciting it is for the community to be able to respond and say, let's test it. Let's see if it works out.
Yeah.
You know?
I wish they had more pilot programs for things like that. Like, let's test it out. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's instead of just saying straight up no to it, like, see if it works.
Yeah.
'Cause you never know. It could be a really good revenue stream for the city through not just from permitting process. Obviously, that's not really a huge revenue stream, but
Yeah.
For different companies around town that are, I mean, we have Blain's Farm and Fleet. We've got Sears that's also selling seed too. You know, there's a lot of different players that are making money off of these things too, and it helps keep our community nice and well rounded too, which is huge because you have every stream of population kind of tapping into this. So it's nice to try those things.
Yeah.
See.
So, Steve, when we broke for commercial, we were talking a little bit about your leadership, and it's been really interesting to see how you started in 8 years, just become another community leader, making an impact in our community, and we're grateful for that. You started with the Elgin Area Leadership Academy as one of the opportunities that you had, which is a program that we've run since 1991. We're now going to be doing our 22nd class of the Leadership Academy kicking off this fall. We will accept up to 25 individuals to participate in that class. It meets once a month on a Saturday morning for 4 hours, and every month the topic changes, as do the guests coming in. What's been your experience with Leadership Academy, and what has that brought you as a business owner?
It was fantastic. I loved it. It always brought something new that you wouldn't necessarily either run across in the community or just think about on a regular basis. I don't want to go transition from that, but like one of my favorite classes was ethics. Like we went over like very specific ethic like stories, and it was fun. Like kind of hearing the different people, like how they would handle something, and like not necessarily that one thing's right or wrong. It just was. So that was a lot of fun. We also got to learn a lot about the community too. So getting introduced to the major players in the community, what they do, why they do it, how they do it, working with the city, and like all the different aspects of that. So it was nice. It was a fun run of getting involved in Elgin really quickly. So that was really amazing. It was a good time, and you make a lot of really good friends and just contacts throughout the city. So.
And that's part of what we say the success of the program is. Well, it is a leadership development program, and each class has a leadership example and perhaps something that you participate in. The situations change every month. So one month it might be you're learning about education, and the superintendent of schools comes in, and the president of the college comes in, and Judson University, and private schools as well. And then the next month it might be economic development, which is what we do. And we bring in a developer who has been in the community and built things or tried to, or business owners as well. So we really try and change we do change every month the topic of discussion. Thanks to the people who have been involved with us from the very beginning. Dan Fox, who is a retired teacher, is a coordinator, a volunteer who has done this for the 34 years that we've been doing it. Ruth Munson was in the first class. Ruth is a serial entrepreneur and became our state representative after she went through the class. And now Edgar has joined us from the Alignment Collaborative for Education. So those three individuals are working to make this a successful class as we kick it off this fall. If anyone is interested, all you need to do is call our office or look online, elginchamber.com for Leadership Academy. You're right about the ethics sessions. One of the favorite sessions that we have, retired Judge Wiley Edmondson writes a docudrama each year that is an ethical challenge, and it's has been performed at Elgin Community College or online during COVID. And presents the class with ethical situations. And we're seeing a lot of that right now in government and ethics related ethical issues related to our governmental leaders. So pretty fascinating, and I think has been just a great venue for you to learn leadership skills as well as to take those skills and then implement them in the community, which is exactly what you've done. I mean, you volunteer where?
So it started off with Downtown Neighborhood Association, which you guys work very closely with.
Very closely. Wonderful.
And then Dan, with his connections and strong encouragement, introduced me to Pads of Elgin, so the local homeless shelter, and been at both of them since.
Volunteering your time as a board member of those organizations, or even in an executive position with those organizations. And thanks to that, because you run a busy shop, there's no doubt about it, but yet you have found time to give back to the community, and we really treasure that. And that's what the whole full circle is with the Leadership Academy, whether you want to volunteer at not-for-profit organizations or religious organizations or whatever it might be. It is a great opportunity to get involved in your community, so we appreciate that very much. So as we go back to technology, and the complexity with technology. And it just seems, Steve, every day we're getting a new warning. Don't click this on because of that. And Matt, don't click this on. And Matt, you're sending me an email and it's a bogus email, and people are perhaps not as diligent in not clicking those on and then go somewhere. I mean, how much of that is happening, and how do we protect ourselves?
Well, there's a lot of it happening.
Yeah.
As far as kind of the backstory on that. So like I'm on the side that's basically like working towards fixing those things. And there's a lot of people out there that do literally exactly the opposite. So I have software applications that help fix those things, antiviruses, stuff like that. And then there's companies out there, either locally, overseas, wherever, that literally purchase the same software that does the exact opposite. So like your average Joe, it's so easy that your average Joe can kind of go and do those things. So like put a virus on a computer or do those things because it's pre-purchased software basically. And so they can take advantage of people. The biggest things is just understand what you're looking at, read the screen. Like I get a lot of emails all the time that are like, oh, should I click on this? Like, well, have you ever dealt with this company before? Are you currently dealing with this company? Pick up the phone. Don't dial the number there. Dial the number that you know of for that company. Like there's a million different ways to avoid harsh or negative impacting interactions with things with your technology. But yeah.
And how is that technology, as you sit, Matt, in front of these boards running this complex operation? How are you doing with technology?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have to say technology is growing so much, and so we have to grow with it also. And that can be difficult at times, but if you're willing to learn it, then it's such a phenomenal journey to go on. But of course, yes, there's also having to recognize and look out for those different scam emails and is this actually something that's if it sounds, what is that saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it's
usually
is. Yeah, that's true.
So that kind of having that mindset in place where it can be very exciting. And I know when a lot of AI stuff started to come out, I was hyped about it. I was so excited. I was like, what is this? I can't imagine if I was in middle school and I saw this, I'd be over the moon about it. But I also had to kind of step back and be like, okay, let's we don't want to, hopefully this won't go too far to where then it starts to kind of have a mind of its own, literally, where it can be it's definitely a tool that can be used rather than something that is the only thing that can be used. Hopefully we don't have to get to that point where we can still have that human interaction and being able to process thoughts and communicating so that we can achieve things, with AI also being a tool that we can use as well. But
yeah, that'll be certainly helpful to some businesses. So I was thinking of you and your store, Rick, Blain's Farm and Fleet. How UPC codes? How many codes do you have in your store? That's something I just boggles your mind.
Thousands.
Yeah, tens of thousands, and people get upset when I come in and it's supposed to be 89 cents, not 99 cents. I mean, how much of that do you?
You're always going to get that. I mean, it's a very daunting task to be able to kind of go through and maintain those prices and be able to change everything out. But yeah, it's definitely a struggle sometimes. But that's a lot of SKUs.
Yeah. So we talked about the hours that are required. How store managers, how many hours a week are you generally working?
Mentally?
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm never out of it.
Okay.
I mean, honestly,
There you go.
I mean, as far as actual hours in the building, it's about 50 hours
Yeah.
a week that I'm in the building. But as far as mentally, I mean, you're always in it.
Yep.
You always have to have your head in the game. You
Yep.
want to be thinking of different things, and you find yourself, even when you're out and about and you're kind of shopping at another retailer, or you're walking around and just seeing things from merchandising and things like that. Your brain's always going like that. It's just kind of how you're wired.
Yep, I imagine that. And Steve, the same with you. How do you relax? I mean, you could be 24 hours a day, but how do you ever, how do you step away? What is it that...
I do art.
So talk about that, because it's extraordinary what you're doing.
Thank you. I do paper sculptures. I don't know how to explain it.
It is...
It's
Well, where are you displaying the artwork that you're doing? Is there somewhere that people can go look at what you're doing? Because it is pretty extraordinary.
Thanks. Viator, the coffee shop over here downtown, has a couple pieces. I just put them up there because they were lacking some art, so made sure there was some stuff there. We also have Side Street Studio Arts. They're just finishing up a gallery, or their 11th year anniversary. A lot of things going on in the last 10 years here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that until I think the end of the month. And I don't know. I have pieces sporadically around town. Just try to make sure we always have something up. So, yeah.
It really is something. Do take a chance to visit perhaps any of those places that were listed, because your artwork is just absolutely beautiful and is so different than what you traditionally see in the art world here locally. So, okay, so I want to say welcome to some new businesses that joined us before we leave today. Pregis is coming into town. Pregis is a consolidation of a corporation that has 3 locations in the Chicagoland area and have taken about 500,000 square feet at Route 20 and Shales Parkway. And so we're welcoming Pregis to join us. They work on packaging and boxes, internally packaging with boxes that you receive from purchases that you make. So welcome to them. Imogen Consultants is coming downtown. CD Price One Cleaners is opened in South Elgin, so you don't have to drive down to St. Charles anymore, right on Randall Road, and they've got some wonderful deals. You can go to our website, elginchamber.com, and find hot deals, and you'll see a discount that's offered there. D&T Vinyl and Graphics has joined us. Incredible Coaching is on board. Kiwanis Club, a service club in Elgin, is back with us. Mo DeVee Studios, a local photographer, Carolyn Burrow, and Thrive Pet Healthcare Specialists in Hoffman Estates. So an incredible resource. So thanks to Rick Jackson from Blain's Farm and Fleet for joining us, to Steve Kroiss from 79 Ratio. Matt, thanks for being with us, part of the show today, and we'll talk with you next month.